Beloved chosen one, stop scrolling. Pause everything else. This is not just another video, not another motivational voice passing through your feed. You are hearing this because time has already moved, and something within you knows it. The pressure you feel is not fear, it is awareness. An inner alarm ringing because delay has quietly become a pattern. You were never meant to live constantly catching up with life. Yet lately, that's exactly how it feels. You wake up already tired, already behind. Behind on finances, behind on decisions, behind on conversations you should have had months ago. You keep telling yourself, I'll fix this soon. But soon keeps moving. Think about a real, ordinary moment. You're at work, staring at your screen, doing tasks that barely touch your potential. You once had ideas, now you just meet deadlines. Or maybe it's your finances, you avoid checking your account, not because you're irresponsible, but because looking makes the weight heavier. Or at home, you sit at the same table with the same people, yet something essential remains unspoken. Silence has become easier than truth. This is how delay hides inside routine. The emergency is not loud. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It says, just get through today. And then tomorrow says the same thing. Before you realize it, months pass, seasons change, and the life you were meant to build stays in draft mode. But hear this clearly. Heaven is not surprised by your lateness. God is not confused by your hesitation. What you are feeling right now is not rejection, it is intervention. The Word of God declares in the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 10 to 11. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief and scarcity like an armed man. This is not just about money. This is about spiritual drift, about how small delays compound into major consequences. Not because God is cruel, but because time is honest. Time exposes what we keep postponing. Yet notice something important. This verse is a warning, not a sentence. Warnings exist because change is still possible. Here is the hope, and it is very practical. Hope looks like action taken today, not someday. Hope is deciding to update the resume instead of complaining about the job. Hope is creating a real budget instead of guessing. Hope is initiating the uncomfortable conversation instead of rehearsing it endlessly in your head. These are not dramatic spiritual acts, but they are deeply obedient ones. Chosen one, your calling is not floating somewhere in the clouds. It is waiting on the other side of a decision you keep delaying. And no, you don't need to fix everything at once. You just need to stop stalling. Momentum returns the moment obedience begins. Peace doesn't arrive when life becomes easy. It arrives when direction becomes clear. Let me slow the pace for a moment. Breathe. This message is not here to crush you. It is here to wake you. There is still time, but not unlimited time. Grace is still speaking, but it will not shout forever. So I ask you plainly, without poetry, what area of your life has been slowly deteriorating because you kept saying later? Don't answer out loud yet, let it land. If this message is reaching you, take a moment to support it, like it. Share it with someone who feels stuck but chosen, and subscribe so you stay connected to what is unfolding. This is how awakenings spread quietly, person by person. And if you recognize yourself in this warning and this hope, mark this moment. At the end of this section, comment 911 not as panic, but as a declaration that you recognize the emergency and you are choosing to respond. You are not weak for feeling behind. You are human, but you are also chosen, which means awareness has found you before collapse did. This is the mercy realization arrives while correction is still possible. You are not being shamed, you are being summoned back into alignment. Look closely at your life right now. The frustration you feel is not random irritation. It is unused potential pressing from the inside. What exhausts you is not work, it is working without meaning. Your soul is tired of carrying dreams that never leave the planning stage. Still, do not rush into panic. Urgency does not mean chaos, it means clarity. One step, taken today, changes the direction of the entire year. One honest decision reroutes momentum. Heaven does not demand perfection, only movement in the right direction. You will notice resistance the moment you decide to act. Doubt will speak louder. Fear will present logic. That does not mean you are wrong. It means you are finally threatening stagnation. Growth always disturbs what has grown comfortable with your delay. Remember this as we move forward, you are not chasing purpose. Purpose is calling you forward. The distance you feel is not because you wandered too far, but because you stopped walking. And walking can begin again, right now. You have always sensed it, that quiet difference separating you from others long before you had language for it. Even as a child, you noticed things others ignored. You felt atmospheres shift. You asked questions no one around you seemed interested in answering. While others blended in, you stood slightly apart. Not because you wanted to, but because you couldn't help it. This was not rebellion. This was marking. Before you understood responsibility, you were already carrying weight. You learned early how to read moods in a room, how to adjust yourself to keep peace, how to stay alert even when others rested. That is not coincidence. That is training. Many chosen ones mistake early pressure for punishment, not realizing it was preparation. Think about your life path honestly. You never quite fit into one box. In school, at work, even in family systems, you were often the one expected to handle it, to be mature, to stay strong. While others were allowed to fall apart, you were quietly expected to hold things together. That pattern did not begin recently, it followed you. Consider a concrete moment. In your workplace, when something goes wrong, eyes instinctively turn to you, not because you have the loudest voice, but because you bring stability. Or in your family, when conflict rises, you become the mediator, the emotional anchor. You didn't apply for this role, it was assigned to you. And over time, this unspoken assignment became heavy. You started wondering, why does life feel harder for me? Why do I have to grow up faster? Why can't I just live lightly like others seem to? These questions are not complaints. They are signals. Signals that you were never meant for shallow waters. But here is the danger when you don't understand your calling. You mislabel it as a burden. You try to escape it through distraction, people-pleasing, or shrinking yourself to fit environments that cannot hold your depth. And each time you do, something inside you dulls, not dies, but quiets. There were signs along the way that you ignored. Doors that closed abruptly, relationships that ended without clear explanation, opportunities that dissolved just as you were getting comfortable. You thought these were setbacks. In truth, many were redirections. You were marked before you knew what the mark meant. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. This verse is not about prophecy alone. It is about pre-knowledge and separation. Known before formed, set apart before sent, chosen before prepared. Your life did not suddenly gain meaning when you became aware of it. It was meaningful from the beginning. Let's ground this again in reality. Imagine where you might be today if you had never tried to blend in. If you had trusted your discernment instead of overriding it to keep others comfortable. If you had pursued work aligned with your values instead of just stability. Some regret surfaces here, and that's natural. But regret is not here to paralyze you. It is here to refine your vision. The hope is this: being late does not erase being chosen. It simply means the awakening comes with urgency. You are not starting from zero. You are starting from experience. From lessons learned the hard way. From resilience developed in silence. That maturity others admire in you, it wasn't accidental. It was forged. There is a future version of your life where your sensitivity becomes wisdom, your awareness becomes leadership, and your compassion becomes authority. That future is not imaginary. It is conditioned on your willingness to stop pretending you are ordinary. This doesn't mean grand gestures overnight. It means alignment in daily choices. Choosing honesty over comfort. Choosing growth over familiarity. Choosing responsibility over avoidance. Small choices reshape identity faster than dramatic promises. Yet I need to ask you something directly, and I want you to sit with it. If you were never meant to blend in, why are you still trying to live like everyone else? That question may stir discomfort. Good. Discomfort often precedes clarity. The world doesn't need another distracted life drifting through routine. It needs grounded individuals who know who they are and why they are here. You are not marked for chaos, you are marked for impact. But impact requires acceptance of difference. As we move forward, remember this: your story makes sense when viewed through purpose, not comparison. Stop measuring your timeline against people who were never carrying your assignment. What slowed them would have crushed you. What trained you would have bored them. You are not behind, you are arriving aware. What once felt like isolation now begins to reveal itself as insulation. You were protected from paths that would have diluted your purpose. The loneliness was not abandonment, it was preservation. Some environments could not host who you were becoming without damaging what was forming inside you. As understanding settles, pressure transforms into direction. You stop asking why life was heavier and start recognizing how it shaped you. Clarity replaces confusion. You no longer chase belonging, you build alignment. And from this place, your next steps stop being guesses and start becoming deliberate. Delay rarely announces itself as rebellion. It disguises itself as responsibility, as wisdom, as waiting for the right time. You told yourself you were being careful. You convinced yourself patience was maturity, but slowly, quietly, something shifted. What began as discernment hardened into hesitation, and hesitation left unchecked becomes disobedience. This is where many chosen ones stumble, not in open defiance, but in quiet postponement. You knew what you were supposed to do. You felt it clearly. Yet you negotiated with that knowing. You asked for more confirmation, more comfort, more certainty. You waited for conditions to improve before committing to action. And while you waited, fear gained ground, not because it was stronger, but because it was fed. Let's make this practical. Think of a moment at work when you knew you should speak up about an unethical practice, a misaligned role, or a project draining your integrity, but you stayed silent to avoid tension. Or a financial decision you delayed, hoping the pressure would resolve itself. Or a relationship where you sensed the need for a boundary, yet avoided the conversation because confrontation felt too costly. These are not small moments. They are crossroads. Delay trains the soul to tolerate misalignment. At first, nothing dramatic happens. Life continues. People still smile. Bills still get paid barely. But inside, clarity dulls. Conviction softens. What once felt urgent starts to feel negotiable. This is the danger, not collapse, but numbness. You begin to confuse God's patience with permission. But patience is not approval. Mercy waits, yes, but it does not erase consequence. Every delayed act of obedience subtly reshapes character. You don't just postpone action, you postpone growth. And over time, the cost compounds. The prophet Elijah spoke as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 18, verse 21. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. This question is sharp because it exposes divided loyalty. Wavering is not neutrality, it is instability. And instability is exhausting. That's why you feel tired even when you haven't done much. Your energy leaks through indecision. Notice Elijah's words. How long, not why. Heaven already understands your reasons. What heaven confronts is duration. How long will you keep standing between versions of your life, sampling both but committing to neither? Here is the hope, and it is very real. Obedience simplifies life, not instantly but decisively. When you choose alignment, mental noise reduces, focus sharpens, peace begins to replace anxiety, not because circumstances improve overnight, but because direction does. Imagine waking up knowing what you are building. Imagine your finances stabilizing because you stopped avoiding structure. Imagine relationships becoming clearer, not easier, but honest because you chose truth over comfort. These are fruits of obedience, not luck. Yet obedience will cost you something. It may cost approval, familiarity, short-term comfort. That is why delay feels safer. But safety without purpose becomes suffocation. Let's slow the pace here. This is not about perfection. It is about honesty. You don't need to overhaul your life in a day. You need to stop pretending you don't know what your next right step is. Because you do know. And this is where the tension peaks. Every time you delay what you know, it becomes easier to delay again. The conscience does not vanish, it quiets. The inner alarm lowers its volume. That is not freedom. That is drift. But conviction returning like now is a gift. You are not being accused. You are being invited back into clarity. The door is not closed. But it is not wide open forever either. Doors respond to movement. So let me ask you plainly. Without spiritual language, what action keeps resurfacing in your mind no matter how often you ignore it? That recurring thought is not harassment, it is instruction. Here is where you respond not to me, but to this moment. I want you to comment a short phrase under 4 words. I choose clarity. This is not a slogan, it is a decision. Clarity over comfort, direction over delay, alignment over excuses. When you write it, you are interrupting the pattern of postponement and naming your intention. And as we move forward, remember this: obedience does not make life smaller, it makes it coherent. The scattered pieces begin to align, strength returns, momentum builds. Not because fear disappears, but because purpose outweighs it. Delay has had enough time. Now it is obedience's turn. Elijah's question exposes the cost of standing still. Wavering drains strength because it divides attention. When your loyalty is split, energy leaks in every direction. The verse is not about punishment. It is about choosing a direction so your strength can finally move forward instead of circling. The prophet confronts delay because delay pretends to be wisdom. Yet wisdom acts when truth is clear. The verse shows that knowing God is not intellectual agreement, it is alignment expressed through decision. Following requires motion. Remaining undecided is itself a choice, and it always favors stagnation. At its core, this scripture reveals mercy disguised as urgency. Elijah speaks before consequences fall, not after. The question, how long is grace giving time a boundary? It is heaven saying clarity is available now, but it requires you to step out of the middle ground. The story begins before fear ever speaks. Elisha wakes to a city surrounded. Horses, chariots, an army positioned with precision, sealing every visible exit. His servant sees it first, the threat, the imbalance, the certainty of defeat. Panic rises not because danger exists, but because danger is all he can see. This is how most battles begin, not with loss, but with perception. Elisha, however, does not rush. He does not calculate. He does not react. He prays not for the enemy to vanish, but for vision to be restored. And suddenly, the mountain ignites with reality that was always there. Fire, horses, chariots of heaven, an army not formed in response to fear, but stationed long before fear arrived. The danger was real, but it was not dominant. This ancient moment mirrors your modern life more closely than you realize. You wake up surrounded too, not by soldiers, but by responsibilities, notifications, deadlines, financial pressure, expectations you never agreed to but somehow carry. You open your eyes each morning and immediately begin counting what stands against you, what you owe, what you missed, what might collapse if you misstep. And like the servant, fear feels justified, but justification does not equal truth. As recorded in the second book of Kings, chapter 6, verse 16, Elisha said, "Do not be afraid, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them." This sentence does not deny the enemy. It reframes the battlefield. Elisha does not say the army is imaginary. He says it is outnumbered. That distinction matters. Faith is not blindness, it is accurate sight. It accounts for variables others ignore. Now bring this into your daily reality. At work, you feel isolated, holding standards others compromise. You feel like integrity costs more than it pays. At home, you are the steady one, the one who absorbs stress so others can function. Financially, you are stretching resources, doing math late at night, wondering how much longer balance can be maintained. These are real pressures, but they are not the full picture. There are layers of protection you cannot spreadsheet, alignments you cannot schedule, delays that were not setbacks but shields. If every unseen restraint were removed, you would not still be standing. The fact that you are is evidence that someone has been standing with you. Think back carefully. There were moments when collapse was statistically likely, yet somehow avoided. Conversations that could have destroyed relationships but softened instead. Errors that should have ended careers but became lessons. These are not anomalies. These are patterns of coverage. Spiritual warfare rarely announces itself with drama. It disguises itself as fatigue, as distraction, as the quiet thought, "I can't do this anymore." The real threat is not attack, it is discouragement convincing you that you are unsupported. Elisha's prayer exposes the solution. Open the eyes. Not escape the battle, not erase difficulty, see correctly. When perception shifts, panic loses authority. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is fear reclassified as information, not command. You stop reacting to pressure and start standing within purpose. Here's the tangible hope. It looks like this: you take a step you've been postponing, expecting backlash, and instead you find unexpected cooperation. You choose discipline over drift, and momentum quietly returns. You speak honestly. And though not everyone applauds, the right doors open. These are not coincidences. These are confirmations that unseen support activates when alignment begins. The unseen army does not remove effort, it reinforces it. Notice something subtle. Elisha never mocked his servant for fear. He didn't say, "You should have known better." He covered him with prayer. True strength does not shame weakness, it stabilizes it. Remember this when you feel overwhelmed. You are not expected to see everything at once. You are expected to remain open to sight being restored. Many chosen ones feel attacked because they measure life only by what is visible. They count obstacles without counting backing. They assess danger without accounting for restraint. And so fear feels logical. But logic without revelation is incomplete. Your life is not chaotic, it is contested. And contested ground is valuable ground. No one fights for empty land. Resistance often intensifies not because you are failing, but because you are nearing alignment. Let this sink in. The mountain was already full before the servant panicked. Support did not arrive late. It was present before fear spoke. This means your help is not scrambling to catch up with your crisis. It is already positioned. If this message has steadied you even slightly, let it behave like light naturally does. If this message steadied your heart even a little, treat it like a torch in a dark valley. You don't hide a torch, you lift it. To like is to acknowledge the light reached you. To share is to place that light into another hand. And to subscribe is to choose to keep walking together. Step by step, through what is still unseen but already prepared. No pressure, only recognition. Light is never forced, it is offered. And before we move on, sit with this question, not as a test, but as an invitation. What if the help you are waiting for is already surrounding you just beyond what fear allows you to see? When that question settles, something loosens. Breathing deepens, shoulders drop, perspective widens. The battle you are in is real, but so is the army you cannot yet see. There are moments in life when opportunity does not announce itself with noise or urgency. It arrives quietly, almost gently, like a window left slightly open. You notice it out of the corner of your awareness, unsure how long it will remain. This is what many miss, not because they don't see the window, but because they hesitate once they do. And chosen one of these windows is opening in your life right now. A window rarely appears when conditions are perfect. It opens while you are tired, while finances feel tight, while relationships are unresolved, while confidence is incomplete. That is precisely how you recognize it as real. If everything were ideal, it would not require courage, only convenience. So let's bring this into everyday life. A window may appear as a conversation you feel prompted to initiate, an overdue apology, an honest boundary, a truth you have rehearsed internally but never spoken. It may appear as a quiet nudge to learn a new skill, even though part of you feels late or underqualified. It may appear as the realization that your finances need structure, not a miracle, and that structure must begin now, not someday. Windows often look small. That is intentional. Large doors intimidate. Small openings invite movement. Think of a normal day. You wake up, scroll briefly, and a familiar thought surfaces, I should address this. You push it aside and continue your routine. That thought returns later, then again at night. This repetition is not anxiety. It is awareness. Awareness is how windows announce themselves. But here's the truth many ignore. Windows do not remain open because you acknowledge them mentally. They remain open because you move toward them physically. The Apostle Paul reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 16, verse 9, because a great door for effective work has opened to me, and there are many who oppose me. Notice what accompanies the open door: opposition, friction, resistance. This is not a sign to stop. It is confirmation that the door matters. Opportunity and resistance often rise together. Ease is not the indicator of alignment. Meaning is. So how do you recognize your window clearly? Begin with what continues to return to your attention without force. What responsibility keeps resurfacing, even when you distract yourself? What task feels inconvenient but necessary? What decision would simplify your life if you stopped avoiding it? Windows repeat because they are patient, but they are not permanent. Now comes the most important part: action. Many people overcomplicate obedience. They wait for a full life overhaul when what is required is a single, immediate step. Alignment rarely demands everything at once. It asks for something now. If your window involves finances, the step may be as simple as writing down every expense this week. Not fixing it, not judging it, just facing it. If your window involves relationships, the step may be sending a message that says, "Can we talk honestly?" No script, no defense, just openness. If your window involves career or purpose, the step may be updating one page of your resume, or spending 30 focused minutes learning instead of scrolling. These steps are small on purpose. Small steps bypass fear. Fear thrives on magnitude. It weakens when actions feel manageable. Do not underestimate immediacy. Acting today matters more than planning perfectly tomorrow. Momentum is born from now, not later. You may ask yourself, what if I act and nothing changes? But that question assumes stagnation is safer than movement. It is not. Stagnation quietly extracts a cost over time: confidence, clarity, and peace, while action, even imperfect action, builds direction. Here is the hope, very tangible and grounded. When you step into a window, clarity increases. You do not see the entire path, but you see enough to keep moving. Confidence does not arrive before action, it follows it. Peace does not come from certainty, it comes from alignment. This is not about rushing blindly. It is about responding deliberately. One window, one step, now. Slow down for a moment. Breathe. You are not being pressured. You are being trusted with awareness, trusted with timing, trusted with choice. Ask yourself this honestly and without drama. What is one small action I could take in the next 24 hours that aligns with what I already know? Not 10 actions, one. This is how lives change, not explosively, but consistently. As a marker of this moment, not superstition, but intention. Comment a number that represents opening and alignment. Comment 121. One window, one step, one decision. Not for visibility, but for memory, so you remember the moment you chose movement over delay. Windows do not close with noise, they close with silence. The silence of almost, of later, of I meant to, but you are still here, which means this one is still open. Step toward it. The number you wrote is not mystical, it is intentional. 121 reflects alignment through action, one window recognized, one step taken, one direction chosen. It represents movement without overwhelm, commitment without pressure. Each one reinforces focus, reminding you that transformation begins when clarity meets immediate, deliberate response. Activation rarely feels dramatic from the inside. There is no thunder, no sudden elevation, no visible crown descending from the sky. What you feel instead is weight, not the crushing kind, but the sobering realization that what you carry now must be handled with intention. This is the moment when being chosen stops feeling poetic and starts feeling practical. You begin to notice a shift in how you respond to life. Things that once provoked impulsive reactions now invite measured responses. You pause before speaking. You think before agreeing. You feel less urgency to explain yourself to people who have already decided how they will see you. This is not withdrawal. This is authority forming quietly. Activation is not about gaining something new. It is about accessing what was already entrusted to you. For a long time, you waited for permission to step forward, to lead, to decide, to say no. You looked for validation in results, applause, or approval. But activation does not wait for external confirmation. It begins when internal alignment becomes non-negotiable. Think about daily life. At work, you stop overextending to earn worth. You still work hard, but you no longer abandon yourself to prove value. In finances, you stop chasing quick relief and start building sustainable order. In relationships, you stop explaining your boundaries and simply uphold them. These are not personality changes. They are signs of activation. Authority expresses itself through consistency. This phase can feel lonely, not because people leave, but because fewer voices get access. You become selective not out of pride, but out of stewardship. You realize that not everyone deserves proximity to your inner world. That discernment is not arrogance, it is maturity. There is also resistance here, not dramatic opposition, but subtle testing. Old habits resurface. Old fears whisper. Familiar distractions try to reclaim attention. This is not regression. It is confirmation that something real is stabilizing. The ancient words recorded in Romans chapter 12, verse 2, still echo today: do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Notice where transformation happens. Not in circumstances, but in the mind. Activation is cognitive before it is visible. You begin to think differently about time, responsibility, and consequence. You stop romanticizing delay. You stop minimizing discipline. You start seeing clarity as kindness. Renewal of the mind changes how you interpret pressure. What once felt like punishment now feels like refinement. What once felt unfair now feels purposeful. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this shaping in me?" This shift affects how you move through ordinary days. You plan instead of drift. You rest without guilt. You work without resentment. You say no without over-explaining. You stop rehearsing imaginary arguments and start investing energy in what actually moves life forward. These are subtle shifts, but they compound quickly. Activation also brings sobriety. You realize that influence carries consequence, that words carry weight, that shortcuts cost more than they save. You stop envying those who rise fast without foundation because you understand what collapse costs later. There is a quiet dignity that settles over you here. You no longer need to announce growth. It shows in your decision. You no longer chase alignment. You protect it. You no longer fear responsibility. You manage it. This is where many people misunderstand the chosen path. They expect excitement, but what arrives first is clarity. Clarity strips away fantasy. It simplifies priorities. It demands consistency over intensity. You may notice fewer emotional highs, but also fewer crashes. Less chaos, but more responsibility. Less noise, but more direction. This is not loss. This is stability replacing volatility. Let's bring this back to real life again. In your family, you become the calm presence instead of the reactive one. You don't absorb everyone's emotions, but you don't abandon empathy either. You hold space without losing yourself. At work, you stop waiting for perfect conditions and start executing within reality. Financially, you accept that growth is built, not wished into existence. This is what activation looks like when it's healthy. You are no longer proving anything. You are preparing something. There is also humility here. You recognize that strength does not mean independence from guidance. You remain teachable. You listen more than you speak. You adjust when correction comes. Activation does not inflate ego, it grounds it. You understand now why earlier stages felt restrictive. You were being trained to carry weight without rushing, to hold vision without panic, to move deliberately rather than impulsively. What once felt like delay now reveals itself as formation. And here is the deeper truth: activation is not a single moment. It is a posture you maintain. You wake up each day asking quieter questions. Not how do I get ahead, but what needs to be handled well today. Not how do I stand out, but what deserves excellence right now. These questions keep you aligned when motivation fluctuates. You may not feel extraordinary, but you are becoming reliable. And reliability is rare. As this section closes, understand this clearly. You are not late to activation. You are activated at the moment responsibility meets willingness. That is happening now. Not loudly, not publicly, but genuinely. This is the phase where your life stops being reactive and starts being intentional, where your choices stabilize your future, where discipline becomes self-respect, where clarity becomes peace. You are not waiting anymore. You are walking. There comes a point when the path no longer feels optional, not because someone is forcing you forward, but because turning back would cost more than continuing. You reach a quiet threshold where delay no longer feels neutral, it feels heavy. Where comfort without purpose starts to feel like loss. This is not fear speaking. This is maturity. You have seen enough now. You have seen what drifting does to time. You have felt what hesitation steals from peace. You have learned that waiting without movement slowly erodes vision. And you have also seen something else, something steady rising underneath all of it. Resolve. Not loud, not dramatic, but firm. But this is where outcomes separate. Some people turn back here, not because they are weak, but because they prefer familiarity over responsibility. Others step forward not because they are fearless, but because they understand the cost of remaining undecided. You are standing in that space now where both paths are visible. One leads back to explanation, justification, and endless preparation. The other leads forward to obedience, consequence, and growth. This is not about perfection, it never was. It is about finality, about ending the cycle of almost. The ancient words recorded in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19. Speak with clarity, I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live. Notice what is offered here, a choice, not a push. Heaven does not drag anyone into alignment. It invites. It presents reality honestly and allows dignity to remain intact. Choosing life does not mean choosing ease. It means choosing direction that sustains. In your real world, choosing life looks like this: committing to what you already know instead of reopening inner debates you have settled many times before. Honoring boundaries even when guilt tries to renegotiate them. Continuing disciplined habits on days motivation disappears. These are not glamorous choices, they are decisive ones. There is grief at this stage, a quiet release of who you might have been if you stayed comfortable, of relationships that cannot follow you forward, of identities built around survival instead of purpose. This grief is not failure, it is transition. And alongside it comes hope, very specific hope. Hope looks like stability replacing chaos. It looks like waking up without dread. It looks like finances slowly organizing instead of constantly scrambling. It looks like conversations becoming clearer, even when they are hard. It looks like self-respect becoming non-negotiable. This is what it means to be crowned not with spectacle, but with responsibility you can finally carry. You do not announce this shift. Crowns are heavy. They sit quietly. Others notice not by your word, damat, but by your consistency. by your restraint, by your refusal to return to patterns that once drained you. Obedience simplifies life. It does not remove challenge, but it removes confusion. Resistance may remain, but direction no longer wavers. And clarity becomes strength. If you have stayed through this entire message, consider what that already reveals. Attention is costly. You chose to give it here. That is not accidental. It suggests readiness not for noise, but for depth. When something meaningful steadies you, the response is rarely forced. It is natural, like setting a lamp near a window so its glow reaches outside. To like is simply to acknowledge that something here resonated. To share is to leave a light along the road for someone walking behind you. And to subscribe is a quiet decision to keep returning to places that sharpen clarity instead of feeding distraction. Nothing demanded, everything chosen. And if this moment feels like a gentle turning point for you, leave a simple phrase in the comments. I choose alignment, not to declare perfection, but to name direction. Words matter. This one draws a line softly but firmly between who you were surviving as and who you are now choosing to become. The path ahead will not always be easy, but it will be honest. And honesty is lighter to carry than confusion. You are not cut off. You are not behind. You are not almost. You are aligned enough to continue. Walk forward steadily. Carry what you have been given with care. And remember, you were never meant to rush, only to choose well. What follows alignment is not applause, but steadiness. Days begin to feel quieter inside, even when responsibilities remain heavy. You stop negotiating with your conscience. Decisions take less effort because direction is settled. This is how peace arrives, not as relief from effort, but as confidence that effort now matters. And when uncertainty returns, as it sometimes will, it no longer disorients you. You remember the choice you made and stand inside it. Forward may be slow, but it is sure. You are no longer asking who you are becoming, you are living the answer. One deliberate step at a time. Before we part, let this ending remain open like a door that does not close behind you, only waits. If something in this message helped steady you, even briefly, you are free to let it move beyond you. Share it the way people share things that matter, not out of obligation, but because meaning feels lighter when carried together. And if sharing isn't right for you, that is okay too. Keep whatever touched you, let it sit quietly. Some truths work best when they are held, not broadcast. You don't owe this message anything. It exists to serve, not to demand. What matters more is what happens after the sound fades and the screen goes dark. What matters is the next ordinary moment when no one is watching. When there is no music, no narration, no emphasis. Just you and a choice that looks small but carries weight. If you take one thing from this, let it be this: you are allowed to move forward without having everything figured out. You are allowed to choose clarity over chaos, even if others don't understand yet. You are allowed to grow quietly, without announcing it, without defending it. And if none of this resonated, that's okay too. Not every message is for every moment. Still, there may have been a sentence, an image, a pause that stayed with you. Keep that. Sometimes a single line is enough to return to when life grows loud again. This ending does not ask you to do more. It simply leaves space. Space for reflection, space for honesty, space for the next right step to reveal itself in time. Wherever you go from here, go gently. Move with intention, not urgency. Let clarity lead before emotion. And remember, growth does not always feel like progress. Sometimes it feels like stillness with direction. If this journey continues with you, welcome. If it doesn't, take what helped and leave the rest. Either way, you were never meant to rush.